In recent news, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration approved the first over-the-counter Narcan nasal spray. The Alliance for Positive Change provides free Narcan training kits, as well as equipping thousands of people to administer it in the event of an overdose. Here now to share more information, we've got the Director of Recovery Services at the Alliance for Positive Change, Dr. Peter Boutros. And Dr. Boutros, glad to see you again. And, the FDA approved this decision to have the first over-the-counter Narcan spray. There's some people who are critics of it, and there are others who are in favor of it. But from your perspective, talk to us about the FDA decision and how you feel it plays out.
Sure. Thank you for having me. The first thing I believe that the FDA is committed. It's showing us that the FDA is committed to address the nationwide overdose, opiate crisis. This decision also shows us that they're trying to remove the restrictions of having someone, let's say, going to the doctor to obtain a script. This will make certainly overdose reverse more readily available and significantly reduce death due to opiate overdose, increasing locations where this could be found, and it clears the way to include places without pharmacy, such as grocery stores. But I want to point out also that this is just the beginning, for the FDA to do that. We would like to see more to address the cost, because if I go, let's say, to a pharmacy and try to get Narcan, it's going to cost me $50. So this is not available, meaning the cost to everyone. So if it's free, it would be nice.
Yeah, and Dr. Boutros, let's make our viewers up to speed. We are going to assume that some people may not be so familiar, right? So when we have a situation where there's a person out there that's possibly overdosing, this Narcan spray can be administered, and this can help them in the midst of their overdose. But can you just provide a little bit more clarity to somebody who may not be so familiar as to how Narcan works, particularly when it's administered?
Sure, absolutely. Well, Narcan is a medication that's approved by the FDA. This is designed to reverse opiate overdose, and the key word here is rapidly. It is certainly an opiate antagonist, meaning that it binds to the opiate receptors, and this can reverse and block the effect of opiates such as heroin or fentanyl. It's easily provided in the nostril, and by giving one dosage, this can help again address what I just explained, and it does reverse again overdose, and it prevents that from happening. And we know it's rapidly available: heroin, fentanyl, morphine, and oxycodone, for examples.
Yeah. You've got good boots on the ground when it comes to this. Talk to us about where we are in New York City. We know that we're in the middle of an overdose epidemic. How bad would you categorize it?
Well, I think it's worth it for everyone to pay attention to, because certainly we're looking at maybe 2,000 or possibly 3,000 from the latest data that's shown to be an increase, let's say, from 2022 to present. So we've seen an increase, and then we have the xylazine, who's also being introduced. It makes matters complicated more.
And so there are harm reduction services that are out there that are available in the community. Talk to us about the work that's being done to provide these harm reduction services.
Sure, absolutely. Harm reduction services, it simply saves lives, and it decreases potential harms associated with substance use. And this is a key factor and definition of harm reduction. It addresses and helps individuals who use illicit substance primarily, without the harm. And this also helps them to live as healthy being as possible in the community. So reducing the harm is major. We go out into the community. We have, a safe place where substance use can be provided or can be used without the harm, without the impact of the harm.
So I want to take our viewers through some numbers here. New York City, the overdose crisis was at record numbers, as I talked about earlier. In 2021, 2,688 individuals died from overdosing. That's an increase of 78% since 2019, 27% since 2020. Now with this new legislation that's in effect, somebody can get Narcan without a prescription. And Dr. Boutros, I think so many people are saying, well, is there a harm to having Narcan because it was first a prescription drug? Is there a harm that we're possibly adding another prescription drug that will be non-prescription, if you will, on the street?
That's a very good question. And Narcan, it's not known to cause any harm. Again, it's a simple designed to reverse opiate overdose. And the key word here is rapidly, because every second counts when someone is experiencing overdose of any kind of opiates or heroin or fentanyl or morphine. So this is specifically designed to reverse the opiate overdose, or what's the impact in those receptors, the brain receptors that cause this overdose.
Yeah.
So it doesn't harm the individual.
I know my producer's probably going to kill me, but I need to get this one other question in here because there may be somebody out there right now that needs that help. So could talk a little bit just very quickly. I only have maybe a minute or so left, but can you give us a little background about your organization and the work that you do in the community, and maybe somebody might be able to want to tap into you?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I mean, here at the Alliance, we opened our doors back in '91 in the height of the HIV crisis. So this is not the first epidemic we're willing and we are doing to address. Alliance provides low-income New Yorkers, and that's the key word, living with HIV and AIDS and other chronic conditions such as, opiate use. With access to quality care. Here we have housing, we have harm reduction, we have coaching, pantry, and they can simply go to alliance.nyc to access our care. And I want to also add that fentanyl test strips and syringe access, exchange, and disposal. We also provide that, which is really addressed again. And we provide all of this for free to address the opiate epidemic.
Dr. Boutros, I want to thank you. Great work that you're doing, and certainly a great resource to have in the community. If there's somebody that wants to get more information, we're going to give them the contact information in just a second. But again, thanks for the work that you're doing, and we'll continue to follow this story as well.
Thank you so much for having me.
All righty. Thanks for being with us, Dr. Peter Boutros. Now, if you want more information, please visit the website at alliance.nyc. Then also follow them on Instagram and Twitter at the Alliance_NYC. Don't go anywhere. We got more open coming up. We'll be right back in a minute.